Hey guys, this is Backdraft and welcome back to my Create Mod tutorial series. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build this awesome 2-in-1 ore doubling and passive iron farm contraption. If you love the Create Mod, then this series is definitely for you. So if you enjoy, consider hitting that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can follow me on my quest to farm every item in Minecraft using Create. So to explain exactly what this contraption is doing, we are generating cobblestone using mechanical drills, lava, and water sources. We are feeding that cobblestone through crushers, which then crushes it down into gravel. Then we are evenly distributing it across these depots, and it is then getting washed by these two encased fans, and we have a 12% chance to produce an iron nugget for each piece of gravel. The iron is then fed into this basin, and once we have 9 iron nuggets, it will be pressed down by this mechanical press into an iron ingot, and all of the loot will end up in this chest down here. Now, as I said, this contraption also doubles as an ore doubling system. So to do that, we put our ore into this chest right here, and as you can see, this comparator then turns on due to the items being in the chest and activates this clutch, which turns off the mechanical drills that you saw there right there. So all of the ore has a chance to go through the crushing wheels, and the cobblestone production is actually paused so that it doesn't get backed up. And through the use of a few filters, any items that don't need to be washed will be allowed to automatically pass through the depot and will just pass through the basin as well and end up in this chest down here. So things like flint and cobblestone that are byproducts of this process will just end up in the output chest. We do only have one source of power that powers this entire contraption, and since this is a 2-in-1 contraption that does two very important things in the Create mod using one power source, it is a must-have for any survival world. Although it is a bit expensive, so this is probably something you would shoot for in the mid-game. So now let's get into the tutorial. Everything you're going to need to build this contraption is right here in this chest. You can go ahead and pause the video so you can collect up all the materials. First thing you want to do is place down your double chest and put your smart chute on top of it right here. Now we're going to add a filter to this smart chute. You can take one of your filters and right click the arrow, it'll bring up the HUD. Then you're going to want to switch this to a deny list, and you want to drag in all of the different types of nuggets. So gold, iron, copper, and zinc. If you have JEI, you can just do this right from JEI by clicking on the item and dragging it over. So that's gold, iron, copper, and zinc, and then add that filter to the smart chute. On top of the smart chute, you want to put your basin. On top of the basin, you want to put your mechanical press with the shaft facing this way. So next to the basin, you're going to want to put another double chest right here, and then off of that double chest facing into the basin, put one of your brass funnels, and make sure that you right click on it with your wrench so that the arrow is facing into the basin like that. On the other side of the chest, you want to put another brass funnel, and then directly underneath the brass funnel, you're going to want to put a shaft facing this way. Then you're going to want to come out 6 from this one, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to want to connect these up using a belt. Right click on this shaft and then on this shaft. On the last 5 slots above this belt, you're going to want to put a depot 1 block above the belt just like this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where your depots are going to go. And then beneath each depot, you're going to want to put a brass funnel. Then right click on each one with your wrench so that the arrow is pointing downward. Now we're going to add a filter to each of these funnels. So right click into the air, and you're going to do a deny list once again. And we're going to do gravel and all of the different types of chunks that could potentially be crushed down. So we have our gravel. And I don't think it's actually chunk. I think it's crushed iron. So the different types of crushed ore. So we have gravel, the crushed iron, crushed gold, crushed copper, and crushed zinc. And then add this filter to each of the 5 brass funnels like that. Now let's set up the encased fans for the washing process. So add a block right here, one on top of it, put one to the side right there, and another one to the side over here. Then you can break the one in the middle. Then we want a slab above this depot right here, like that. Then we want to put in our encased fan and make sure that the shaft is facing you like this. This is where the fan is supposed to go. And then directly in front of that fan, you're going to want to put your water source. Now mimic the exact same thing on this side. When you're done with the fans, they should look like this. Now let's add in the rest of the belts. So behind each depot, you want to place one shaft facing this way like this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then for these 4, you want to put a shaft directly right here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then for this last one, you want to come back 7 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and place another shaft this way like that. You can break these blocks, you don't need them anymore. Then you can connect up each of these shafts using belts just like this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one. Now take your brass tunnels and place one next to each other on each of these 5 belts. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They should all be connected up nicely like that. Then behind those tunnels, come back 1, 2, place a vertical gearbox here with the shaft facing you. Come around the other side, place a regular shaft in the middle right there, then place another vertical gearbox with the shaft facing you, a crushing wheel there, and then another crushing wheel right there. Now we're going to add in all the cogs to drive the front part of the machine. So for this encased fan, you're going to want to come right here, place 1 shaft, 2 shafts, then a small cogwheel there, a small cogwheel there to hook up the mechanical press, and then another small cogwheel there to hook up the encased fan. For the other encased fan, go 1, 2 from the belt like that, place a large cogwheel there, and then a small cogwheel behind the fan. Then underneath this crushing wheel, place down a shaft, another vertical gearbox with the shaft facing you this way, then place a small cogwheel there, another small cogwheel there, and then another shaft there, and another shaft there. Now we're going to do the cobblestone generator. Start by placing blocks on the last 3 of the belt like this. 1, 2, 3 over there, and then 1, 2, 3 over here. Place 1 right there. Then come over to this side and place a stair facing this way like that. 1 facing that way on a corner like that, and then another one facing that way on a corner like that. And then directly in front of the stairs over here, place blocks. Then you're going to want to put your water on each one of these stairs. You're essentially just waterlogging the stairs. Now on the other side, you're going to want to put your mechanical drills with the drill bit facing you. So 1 right there, and then right there. On top of the drills, you're going to want to put blocks, 1 right there, right there, and right there. On the other side, cover up the water. Then you're going to want to put a block right there, another one right there. Come over to this side and put a block right there, and then place your lava in these 3 spots right here. And you should see that cobblestone will start to generate. If you guys want to cover up your lava, you can. It's not necessary though. I always like to do it just because I'm terrified of lava. And down here, you'll see that the cobblestone is now getting generated. Behind each of the mechanical drills, you're going to want to put a small cogwheel. On the last one here behind it, put a clutch. Next to the clutch, you want to put a block. Then over here, diagonally down from that block, you're going to want another block. Place down a comparator facing into that block that way. Behind the comparator, put your chest. This is where your ores are going to go for ore doubling. Then off the side of that chest, put down your andesite funnel and right click it to make sure that the arrow is pointing towards the belt. Now all that's left to do is wire up the windmill for power and the rotational speed controllers. So come 1 block behind this cog right here and place your bearing, your windmill bearing facing upward right there. Directly on top of the windmill bearing, just put a random block. Then on each sides of the block going up, you're going to want to put 8 sails. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do this for each sides of that block. Once you place in all the sails, it should look like this. And once you're done, check your windmill bearing by holding your wrench and make sure it says rotation direction clockwise. If it says counterclockwise, you're going to want to right click it to switch it over. Actually, sorry, not right click. You're going to want to scroll to switch it to clock. So right now it's on counterclockwise. If I scroll, I switch it to clockwise. That's where you want it to be. Make sure it's on clockwise. Now, underneath the windmill bearing, place another vertical gearbox with the shaft facing you in this direction like this. Place another regular shaft and then your first rotation speed controller. Now this one you're going to want to set to 64 RPM. You can do this by looking at this number right here and scrolling up until you hit 64. Then place another shaft and place your second rotation speed controller and make sure that this one is set to 16, which I think is the default. So this should be fine right here. Then place a large cog on top of that rotation speed controller, a large cog on top of this one. Put another large cog in front of that one right there. Then you're going to want to take a small cog diagonally down from this large cog right there. Then hook this one up to this gearbox. And that should be it. Now for the moment of truth, to turn the contraption on, just right click the windmill bearing. You'll see everything should start spinning. If you get an overstressed message, that means you probably did something wrong. To double check that everything was done correctly, if you put on your engineer goggles and look at the crushing wheels, you just see that each of them are using 256 stress units, and then each of the drills are also using 256 stress units. You can also double check to make sure that all of the belts are all running in this direction on the top, and that this belt is running in this direction on the bottom. So you can see the flint is getting filtered through, it's ending up in this chest down here, and all of the nuggets should end up in this basin. Once we have 9, it should be pressed down into an ingot. And to double check the ore doubling, throw some ores into this chest right here. You should see that the mechanical drills will stop. The ores will get thrown onto the belt and crushed down into their components. The chunks should wait here and get washed. Anything else that doesn't need to get washed should pass right through immediately, like this lapis. All of the nuggets should end up in the basin. They'll get crushed down, and everything else should end up in the output chest. So that does it for this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you were able to build this contraption yourself, then hit that like button, subscribe button, and the bell for notifications so you don't miss another awesome Create Mod tutorial. I'll see you guys again. This has been Backdraft. Take care, and bye-bye.